Let's see how to enter columns in CYPE 3D. To do this, we must have previously defined at least 2 levels in the job. We can consult, create, or delete the levels from the Planes menu at the top of the interface by clicking on Levels. Then, to enter the columns, we open the bar menu and select New Column. In the pop-up window that appears, first of all, the active layer to which the element will be assigned once it has been entered is displayed. We must also enter the reference of the column and the angle of rotation in the plane. In the diagram on the right, we can adjust the arrangement of the section with respect to the entry line by clicking on the center, edge, or corner marks. Then, in the Levels section, we select the final level and the initial level of the column in the drop-down menus. In the table below, we specify the section of the column for each of the intervals or column spans defined between levels. To do this, we click on the cells in the column on the right. This opens a window where we can modify the type of section. In the Material section, we choose whether the column is made of reinforced concrete, steel, or a composite section. For reinforced concrete columns, we then indicate the type. If it is a rectangular column, we type in its X dimension and its Y dimension, following the directions of the local coordinate axes of the element. If the column is circular, we define its diameter. For steel columns, we must carry out the material selection and section selection among the options available in the program, which are very similar to those that appear when entering generic rolled or cold form steel bars. For composite section columns, we first indicate the type. In the case of a rectangular column with encased section, we type in the X dimension and the Y dimension of the total section. Then we define the section series and select the section of the encased element. In a similar way, we can define a circular column with encased section, in this case indicating the diameter as well as selecting the section series and the section, just as in the previous case. The column we are going to enter could even be a rolled steel plate rectangular box section filled with concrete. If this is the case, in the Reinforcement section, we activate the With Reinforcement checkbox if it is available for the box. Then, under Steel Cover, we define the section series and select the section which forms the outer hollow section or box. We can also activate the With Encased Steel section checkbox. Again, we indicate the section series and select the section of the element encased in the concrete. The other column types allow us to insert a rectangular hollow section, a square hollow section, or a cold-formed circular hollow section filled with concrete, and are used in the same way. Once the type of section has been defined, we click on Accept. Then we repeat the process for the rest of the intervals. By holding down the Control key, we can select several intervals simultaneously by clicking on them one by one. If we press Shift, we select a range of intervals by clicking on the final interval and the initial interval. This way, we can apply the same section to all of them. Finally, we must select the insertion point with the left mouse button to enter the column in the model. The program will place the column in the vertical axis of the selected point, adjusting the height of the elements so that they reach the indicated levels. Automatically, a connection piece is created between each pair of levels that the column crosses. Lastly, another option to enter a column is to go to the bar menu and click on New. Then we click on the Central Editing button, and in the Type of Structural Element section, we select Column. In this case, after we click Accept, we must make sure that the geometry of the element is completely vertical when entering the points that define the initial node and the final node. If the entered column is not vertical, the program displays a warning message indicating the error.